Hey Cooper, just wanted to ask you what it's been like just being able to be a part of this playoff run, this run to the Super Bowl after obviously what you went through in 2018. I know it can be difficult to talk about that, so I understand if you don't want to rehash the past too much, but just in general, what's that?
Um, yeah, it's obviously a less conflicting experience than it was last time. Um, being able to be a part of this thing all the way through, being able to be there with my guys, being able to be in this place now where I get to be a part of preparing and then executing the things that we're going to be able to put together over the course of these next 2 weeks. And yeah, obviously I have a ton of appreciation for the other side of this as well. But being in this position, being able to have the opportunity to go play for a world title is not something obviously that we take lightly, that I take lightly, and very appreciative for this opportunity and just the work that's taken to get here.
And then I saw that you had shared a moment with Robert Woods post game. What, if you're willing to share, what did you say to him? What was that conversation like, and what was that experience like for you?
Yeah, I'm not going to share what we talked about, but being able to have Rob out there, just the emotion that he had, uh, he sits right next to my wife and my family, and being able to hear from her, even just how loudly, how crazy he was cheering for us and pulling for us, and being able to see him out there on that field, it was yeah, it's a special thing having someone like Rob on your team, having him as a friend, and the just what he means for this team, even when he's not able to be out there with us. It's a special thing. He's a special, very special person. So, I love Rob. He's gonna be my brother for the rest of my life, and being able to share that time with him, that's something I'll cherish for the rest of my life.
Thank you.
Jordan.
Hey Cooper, did you guys do your rewatch already this morning?
No, we have not watched the film. That guy's are you talking about going over things as a team?
Yeah, or you personally. I was just going to ask for you, either in the moment or on a rewatch. Any detail? I mean, the leverages and the margins were so important in that game, right? Mm-hmm. So, any details to you that particularly stood out in terms of you guys finding a way in those margins?
Yeah, well, the 49ers, they did a great job. I touched on it a little bit yesterday, but they they don't play a lot of different stuff. You didn't see it's not a bunch of exotic coverages or anything like that. It was cover 3, cover 4, some fire zones, and mixing a little bit of 2. But they play it very well. They've got good players that know how to play it. They know where their help is. They know where their issues are. I thought Matthew did a great job being able to get through progressions, being able to change his arm slots on some throws that were incredible, fitting some balls into some really tight windows, and then just trusting some throws too, where it's just, hey, I'm trusting that the receivers are going to be detailed enough to get where they're supposed to be, and then guys just being able to separate at the right times and be where they're supposed to be within the timing of that play. So there's a lot of things that we did really well. Obviously, a lot of stuff that we've got to clean up as well. So. Yeah, I just thought he did a great job, and for Kendall to step in like he did, make some huge plays for us. Caught a couple no lookers from Matthew back-to-back plays, and just some really good stuff. So across the board, a full team win. Took everyone on offense, especially be able to make that happen.
Matthew's number, we talked a little bit about this before the season started. Matthew's numbers after he either throws an interception or there's a negative play, or he takes a hit, or he's under pressure via blitz, are pretty strikingly high. It's probably an oversimplistic question, but do you get the sense that he likes being under, not duress, but he likes kind of having someone challenge him or have a scheme challenge him in that way?
Yeah, I think I don't think he likes being hit. I think he's past that point. I think his days of running people over and doing all that are kind of behind him. I think he'd tell you the same thing though with that, but I think he enjoys being. He says it all the time. He's like, hey, let's go do something cool. He wants to be able to do something kind of sweet. Being able to change his arm slot. Like come make him move off of his base and throw around someone. I think he enjoys that. He enjoys the opportunities. He's obviously, I don't think he'd complain though if you just made him sit in the pocket and throw the ball. I think he'd be fine with that too. But I think he enjoys doing those cool things and being able to manipulate things like that.
Thanks, Cooper.
Yep.
Majesty.
Hey, Cooper, what sense do you get, whether from other guys who were in the Super Bowl last time or just general sense of things? What's the difference that playing at home and preparing at home, not having to travel, is going to make?
Yeah, well, not having to travel, that's obviously going to be great. Not having to hop on a plane or anything like that. Being able to kind of stay within your rhythm and routine, I think, is as best as you can, and I think that's a great thing for us. But at the end of the day, I mean, regardless of what it is, whether having to travel or not, I mean, no matter what's thrown at you, and we've seen it this year, what we had to do, obviously with some COVID stuff that went on. I mean, you just find a way to continue to prepare, to take it a day at a time. Whatever comes your way, you just attack it that day. Whether it's media, whether it's virtual meetings, it's whatever it's whatever's thrown at you. We've just done a great job of being able to deal with it and make sure that we get done what needs to get done, so we can go out there and play free when it's finally time to play the game.
Mm-hmm. Any early impressions of the Bengals? What do you know about them?
Yeah, so I mean, they've done some really good stuff this year. We just have seen them in passing as we watch film of other teams and stuff like that. So obviously some very explosive playmakers on offense. I think skilled players are phenomenal. I think Joe Burrow's doing some great stuff here and making some huge throws, stepping up in the pocket. I mean, even some stuff he did yesterday, escaping, being able to use his legs and run for first downs. It was pretty impressive watching what they can do. And then on the defensive side of the ball, you've got some good rushers up front. Some DBs have some great experience, I think, on the back end there. I think Cheeto and Eli Apple, both good corners. I think you got Hilton at the nickel, who did some great stuff. I obviously have a lot of respect for him and the career he's put together. And like I said, those safeties do a great job back there as well. So it's going to be a great challenge. Obviously, they're playing for a world title for a reason. They've played against they've won some big games. They're a very talented team. So I'm looking forward to really being able to dive in and prepare for these guys.
Thank you.
Yep.
Nick.
Hey, Cooper, congratulations on the win. Coach McVay talked about just the resilience of this team and obviously the physicality of the game yesterday. From what you recall, how much do you feel like being in that type of battle with that team will help you guys moving forward up against the Cincinnati Bengals?
Yeah, well, I don't know. You always take something from a game, I guess, and I don't think it's so much of, that type of game doing anything for us as much as it is just being able to watch the film and say, okay, well, when we're getting against these fronts, we're getting against movement, whatever it is, like how are we wanting to hit things? How are we wanting to make sure that we're just trusting our process and how we handle our business? We're all about just continuing to improve. We're a different team than we were when we started this year. We've continued to stack blocks and getting better and better and better. And that doesn't change now. Just because you're playing in the Super Bowl, you continue to get better over these next 2 weeks. We strive to be a better team on the 13th than we were yesterday. So I think that's kind of how you approach that. And regardless of what game it was, you just you learn from it and you move forward.
I also noticed you when you caught the pass, it was, I believe, later in the fourth quarter, you kind of yelled like an emotion, like, you were really excited, but was that more of a sense of kind of relief, like, okay, we're closer to accomplishing our goal? Did you kind of feel it at that moment?
I wouldn't describe my emotions in that moment as relief necessarily. I was just I don't think you can just be yelling at the top of your lungs and be relieved at the same time. So it was kind of just a rare moment of emotion, I think, from me. I just excited about feeling like, we have put ourselves in a position now to be able to take control of this game. Obviously in that situation, you'd like to go down now there and run some more time off the clock, not to put your defense out in the field. Some stuff, obviously, like I said, we're going to be able to clean some stuff up. But yeah, just a moment of a little bit of emotion from me.
Thanks, Cooper.
Yeah.
Gary.
Hey, Cooper. Do you have any memories that or that stick out actually watching Super Bowls, either growing up or, things that stand out in your mind from those games? And if so, what are they?
Yeah, so there's been a couple ones. I mean, obviously the Rams Titans game, sticks out, the ending of that one. The Baltimore game when the lights go out. Being able to watch, I think when the Seahawks and the Broncos played, and it was an awful game. I remember being very frustrated because I was like, I'm excited to watch a good football game, and we didn't end up getting it. But yeah, I mean, I remember some stuff, but I've always been someone that I think I have a lot more respect for the process than I do the moment or like the pinnacle of whatever it is that's happening at the time. Allows me just to kind of appreciate, the totality of something versus, a binary yes, no at the end of a game. I think it also helps keep us from making a moment bigger than it really is. When you are able to believe and enjoy everything that's come from building into this moment, building into this time, that, you're not going to be defined by, I refuse to be defined by an end result ever. I continue to trust in my process, in the effort that I've given to get to that point, and trust that, whatever I've done to put myself in that position, that, I can just go out there and be free to play, and, to let the ends rest with God and where that's going to go. But allowing myself to be in that process and trusting in the journey of what it took to get to wherever that pinnacle is. I think that's kind of where I put my value, I guess. I value that a little bit more than those final moments. So, I can appreciate, going back to the question, I can appreciate the seasons that people put together and the adversity that teams deal with, and the ups and downs, the ebbs, the flows, and how they handled adversity and overcame those things. Those are the kinds of things I think, I appreciate more than just the binary win or loss at the end of the season.
And then yesterday, at what point were you aware that, Tyler Higbee was not coming back into the game? And how do you mentioned Kendall, but how do you feel like Kendall stepped into that role?
Yeah, you're never sure, when, I saw Higbee going off there, and he obviously didn't look good. You never know. Higbee's so tough. He's played through so many things. You never know if you're going to see, Big Rig Higgs trotting back out into the field again. So, you have to move forward though to the next play. Kendall's in that huddle, and there's all the faith in the world. The other 10 guys on the field have all the faith in the world that Kendall's going to be able to do his job and go in there and execute. And he did a great job stepping in, made some huge plays for us. It's a great feeling being in that huddle and knowing that, the guys that are standing to the left and right of you have prepared as well as they possibly can. Kendall might not have gotten as many reps as Higbee did this last week, but, mentally he was dialed into the right stuff, knew what he needed to do, so that when his opportunity did come, he was able to go in there and go in there and execute. So, he did a great job for us.
Thanks very much.
Hey, Cooper, this is a team that had a lot of the same skill position players for a few years in the middle of your career. And then this year you've gone through quite a bit of turnover. You start out adding Matthew, and then since midseason or thereabouts, you've lost Robert, Deshaun, John Munt, Darrell Henderson. You've added Odell, and then you lost Tyler last night. That would be a tough thing for a lot of offenses. But your offense is still getting 400 yards a game, and you've lost one game since Thanksgiving. Where do you see that resilience coming from?
Like I said, I think it's just the process that we take across the board, no matter who you have stepping into that role, no matter how many reps you did or did not get during that week, the expectation for your preparation is at a premium. And, I think we've done a good job setting that standard here. And it's not about, you are not afforded the excuse, well, I didn't get the rep in practice. It's about, being dialed in. You were able to, if you're able to see the rep, you're able to, be a part of then going out and executing that. And that's it. That's the expectation we have here. So having guys that are dialed into that, really allows you, when you go through that kind of adversity, you never want to have to deal with that. Obviously, losing players like we have, and But having guys in that can step in and execute their job to the best of their ability, that's a huge thing for us.
Thanks.
Maria.
Cooper, to kind of expand upon that, talking about the adversity, you guys did overcome a lot this year, and you never know until after it happens. But what kind of strength, what do you think you have all gained from the adversity, that intangible thing?
Yeah, well, I think it's just that reassurance. It's the I don't know what the word is exactly. I think it's the proof in the pudding. That you have this belief that it's about the process. It's about being able to handle adversity. It's about handling the highs as much as it is handling the lows, and then being able to push through and find ways to continue to win, continue to get better. And I think we've done a great job in both of these situations where we've had strung together some losses there in the middle of the season, but being able to respond from that in the same way, being able to string together wins and not feel like we ever took a sigh of relief or step back. It's just hey, good, bad, or ugly, learn from it, move forward, be ready to go, and continuing to just trust in that process and continue to call guys up to that standard has, I think, allowed us to just continue to get better over the course of this year.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Dylan.
Cooper, the last few weeks in particular, I mean, it's kind of been all season, but especially in the last few weeks, McVay has talked a lot about, a lot of you guys and types of kind of competitors you guys are. What kind of competitor is McVay? And what are those moments, I guess, when you're kind of able to see that? How can you tell kind of what's inside of him in that regard?
Yeah. He is a I think he at times, like, maybe he'll say this, maybe not, but I think at times he walks the line between like unhealthy competition and healthy competition. He wants to win at all costs. And he's aware of it. He knows that he's a psycho, but it is what it is. And I wouldn't want anyone else leading this team. What he's able to call us to, the standard, the tone that he sets for this team, and just the walking embodiment over and over again. I mean, he is consistent in his expectations for people, and in the energy that he brings day in and day out. So he's just someone that wants to win, and when you have someone that wants to win like him, he's just going to continue to put guys in positions to do that. And you never have to question his preparation and the work that he's being able to put in week after week, day after, putting us in the best position to execute. So just a lot of appreciation and respect for someone that puts the time in and just cares about his guys as much as he does. So he's an incredible competitor, incredible coach, incredible person to be able to play for.
What do you see when he gets close to that line?
What do I see? We talk about the anger sharks here quite a bit. When the anger sharks start swimming, that's when I think things get okay. The anger sharks are swimming. He's mad. He's not mad at people. He's mad because something, he doesn't have an answer for something yet, or there's something that's giving him some consternation that he wants to get an answer to. And I think that's one of those things where, like, you can see he's not okay with not having an answer for us, or having something that's putting us in. If something that's putting us in a bad position, he doesn't have time for that. So I appreciate that about him.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, we got three last ones. Let's go with you, Mike.
Yeah, Cooper, I saw that at least one of your children was there at the game last night. I'm wondering, at the age that they're at, probably young, maybe not what's going on, what do they say about going to the Super Bowl? Do they understand yet? And then I saw the embrace with your wife, Anna Marie, knowing your guys' journey, what she had to go through early in your collegiate career, transferring and working and all of that. What was that embrace like? What were you feeling? And what did you guys say to each other?
Yeah. We actually didn't. We had our kids. Actually, I ended up staying at home. We just, my son usually ends up checking out a little after halftime. And he had his cousins in town. Like, he's gonna have more fun playing with his cousins at the house than being at the game. But I think it's a unique perspective that kids give you. You come home, he doesn't know what's going on necessarily, but the first thing he said, "Daddy, I love you, and I love you even if you're gone. Like, even when you're not here, I love you." And so just happened something like, that's just so cool. Like, he doesn't know what's going on, but I get home and it's just he's just happy to see me. So kids are just an incredible perspective, just as a father, and understanding what's truly important. That my kids and my wife, my family, nothing's gonna ever take the place of them in my life. They are such a high priority for me, that just keeps things in perspective. And then obviously, see my wife run out of that tunnel. I didn't think she was going to make it to me. She was so excited. I could hear her screaming in the back of the tunnel before I even saw her. She was running out there. I didn't think she was going to make it. I saw her legs start giving out on her. But just it was just incredible to share that moment with her. She's been such a huge part of this, and obviously, some of that has come to light over the last couple of weeks, just what she's meant to me in my career. But for her, just being able to reaffirm in her, just like, this is just as much yours as it is anything that I've done, and just being able to share that time with her was very special.
Thanks. It was a good moment.
Thank you.
Similar, Cooper, I saw you embrace Robert Woods. Looked like a pretty special moment. Can you tell me what it meant for you to share that with him, and what that relationship has been, not just recently with events, but also with the fact that you missed the last Super Bowl, he's going to miss this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, Rob's been my guy here since coming in as a rookie. He was coming off of his stint in Buffalo, coming here, expectation to be the guy, and I think a lot of times you can get in this league and you're told the horror stories of what the receiver rooms are like, and how you're treated as a rookie. And Rob was never, from the beginning, he did nothing but enable me to be whatever I could possibly be. Gave me all the tools, never held anything back from me. Just took me under his wing and taught me, coached me, showed me day after day just what it was, like what the expectation was, to play this position. He was my example from day one. So I owe a ton to Rob Woods and what he gave to me over the course of these last 5 years, and continues to show me, just as a man, as a husband, as a father. He's just an incredible human being. So he means a ton to me. Like I said earlier, he's gonna be my brother for the rest of our lives. And so being able to see him yesterday and just be able to share that moment with him was a very special thing.
And just a quick follow-up to what you were telling Gary about the process. I've heard you say that a couple of times, and truthfully, as a reporter, I don't hear that too much from athletes about the process, and especially when you're saying the end result not to be defined by it. Can you give me where you learned that? I haven't heard that since Phil Jackson, quite frankly, was coaching the Lakers. Where was that taught? Where was that ingrained in you?
Yeah, well, that's spoken from my faith, my belief that I was made to play this game, that God created me with the specific passions and abilities to play this game of football. So in that regard, I play this game to glorify Him above anything else. So first and foremost, that is what it is. I'm playing to glorify God, and no matter what happens at the end of the game, as much as competitors might hate to hear it, like, it comes second to my belief in the process of continuing to be able to play free and trust that I'm doing everything I possibly can to be my best for Him before anything else. And that just allows me that freedom then to believe in every single moment of that process, being the best teammate I can be, being the best man I can be, being the best player I can be for the coaches, the teammates that I'm playing alongside. And if I can step into that place, I can walk off that field feeling like I gave everything I possibly had to play this game to the best of my ability for those guys, to glorify God. At the end of the day, the ends are going to take care of themselves. And, that allows me just to enjoy that process, to enjoy every moment with those guys. Because every time I get to step on the field, it's such a blessing. It's such an incredible blessing, to step on the field with the people that God's put around me, with the teammates, the friends, the what's become my family, being able to step on that field with those guys. I never want to step on that field and not be enjoying that time with them. So, that allows me just to enjoy that process, to be free to love every second of being out there and let the ends rest where it is. We get to be in a place where we play from victory, not for victory. And that's a very, very freeing thing as a football player.
Amen. Thank you.
Yep.
We'll wrap up with Andrew Quinn from Washington. One quick one, Andrew.
Hey, Cooper, as you reflect on going from having no college offers and redshirting at Eastern to now starting in a Super Bowl, what has this season meant to you, and just how validating would a Lombardi trophy be to kind of culminate your football journey so far?
Yeah. Well, I think you're really talking about, kind of what I've just been, discussing. I don't need the validation. The honors, the awards, the trophies, they are what they are. But that's never going to be. It's never going to be, fulfilling for me. That's great that those things come along, because it means I got to play alongside some really good football players, alongside some really good men that put a lot into this game. But I don't need validation from any man on this earth. I don't need validation from any trophies or any awards. I've been validated. So I'm just going to continue to trust the process.